Do you ever feel like you're living someone else's life? Like you're trapped in a movie where the script wasn't written by you. You're just reading someone else's lines. Let me tell you a story. A story about a man who went from zero to cinematic legend. And in the process, he invented what I call the Tarantino Method. We all know Quentin Tarantino today, one of the boldest filmmakers alive. The man behind Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, and Inglourious Basterds. His movies are gritty, violent, surreal, but always unforgettable. But here's the plot twist. Before Hollywood worshipped him, Quentin was just an ordinary guy. A high school dropout, a clerk in a video rental store, a dreamer with no real credits to his name. So how did he go from rewinding VHS tapes to rewriting cinema forever? The answer lies in a single night, and what I like to call the Tarantino Method. Our story starts in 1987. Quentin, a young film fanatic, is working as a video rental store clerk. He spends his days surrounded by movies, his nights writing scripts. Year after year, rejection after rejection. He dreams of making his own film, but he's stuck in a cycle of dead-end jobs and failed screenplays. At 26, he's got a decision to make. Either keep blaming his circumstances or take control of his life. Let's rewind time. If you want to rewrite your life, you must first face reality. This is what Quentin did. One night he sat alone, exhausted by excuses. He could have blamed his job, his education, his circumstances, but instead he did something radical. He grabbed a pen, a notepad, and in the dead silence of night, he confronted the hardest question anyone can ask themselves. What am I doing wrong? Not what the world is doing wrong. Not what people failed to give him, but what he was failing to do. Brutal honesty. Raw, uncomfortable, terrifying honesty. That's step one of the Tarantino Method. To stop living in the illusion of excuses and start facing reality on paper. In his book, Can't Stop, Won't Stop, Quentin recalls that night vividly. He wrote down everything. The doubts, the heartbreaks, the wasted time, the mistakes. Why on paper? Because once it's written, it's no longer this fog of guilt circling your head. It becomes real, tangible, something you can see, examine, and most importantly, change. Think of a time when you wanted to make a big change in your life. Maybe you wanted to lose weight, or start a business, or quit a bad habit. But no matter how hard you tried, you just couldn't seem to make the change. You were stuck in a cycle of failure and disappointment. But what if instead of beating yourself up for not being able to make the change, you took a step back and honestly evaluated why you were failing? What were the things that were holding you back? What were the excuses you were making? Once you have a clear understanding of these things, you can start to develop a plan to change them. You can find ways to eliminate the things that are holding you back and create new habits that support your goals. And maybe, just maybe, you'll finally be able to achieve the success you've been dreaming of. This is the purge stage, emptying your mind of the chaos and mapping it out. And it's painful. But like Tarantino himself said, you can't give yourself excuses anymore. Now comes the most important part. After the purge, he flipped the script. He asked, how can I change it? And here's where it gets practical. Instead of vague goals, he listed solutions. One mistake equals one action step, over and over, until he had a roadmap. Imagine it, 100 ways to rewrite your life. From small fixes like read a book a week to big shifts like write a screenplay every day. And this is where things get really interesting, because according to Quent, this list has a magical effect. It clears your mind. You free up mental space for creativity and problem solving. Your brain stops running in circles, allowing you to focus on solutions instead of problems. This is the beauty of the Tarantino Method. You don't have to wait for inspiration to strike. You don't have to wait for the perfect timing. You don't have to wait for anything. Because as Quentin says, we don't create art for money. We create art for love. The money comes later if the work is good. So you should do what you love, not for the reward, but for the pure joy of creation. And who knows, maybe the money will come anyway. And that's exactly what Quentin did. He put one foot in front of the other. Day after day, he worked tirelessly. In fact, he claims to have written a screenplay every single day since he was 24 years old. That's 35 years of non-stop creation. And guess what? His persistence paid off. His first feature-length film, Reservoir Dogs, won the grand prize at the 1992 Sundance Film Festival. The rest is history. So there you have it. The Tarantino Method, a simple yet powerful technique to help you overcome procrastination and achieve your goals. By following Quentin's lead, you can purge your mind of negativity, identify your weaknesses, and develop actionable steps to improve your life. Remember, it's not about dreaming. It's about declaring war on your excuses and executing relentlessly. Now it's time for you to take action. So grab a pen and paper and start writing your life. Who knows? You might just be the next Quentin Tarantino or the next Steve Jobs or the next Elon Musk. Because remember, they were just ordinary people who dared to dream big and take action. So can you? Thank you for watching this video. If you found it valuable, consider subscribing for more insights and check out this video next for more similar content. Have a great day.